Welcome to Family Lifestyles. It's so good to be with you as we begin to slowly count down the days of summer, kids going back to school, and everyone trying to get in some last-minute vacation times. You know, the hot days of summer, of course, whether we're on vacation, whether we're still at the ballpark playing ball in some all-star tournaments, or whether we're just trying to cool down, can really lead us to seek out a great beverage. And beverages can be of all types, but one of the common denominators with a lot of beverages, with a lot of fast food, is the fact that beverages can add some pounds. Now, maybe you've been working diligently to really try to lose some weight, maybe be more physically active. Maybe the heat has really put you back under the air conditioner and you've kind of fell off the wagon and found yourself sipping a few beverages to kind of fill the time. Whatever the case during these hot days of summer, you really may have fallen into some bad habits, like I often find myself falling into, to actually quench some thirst, to stay cool, but yet we're adding calories with a lot of sugar-sweetened beverages in a lot of different forms. One thing you do need to remember, and I need to really take advantage of too, is the fact that there is no substitute out there for just drinking plain old good cold water. But a lot of times we've gotten in the habits, whether we're drinking our morning beverage of coffee or whether we're drinking something extra value size at lunch, or just trying to cool off with any kind of sports drink. If you've been really physically active, you may be adding a lot of sugar. Now, the thing about sugar is that, you know, we would never think of just eating a lot of raw sugar out of the bag and just, you know, consuming it in that form. Most of the time we think, oh, well, I don't have a lot of sugar. I don't add a lot of sugar to a lot of things. But the reality is that in many cases you may find that you, over a period of time, especially, here's a statistic, if you drink more than 4 12-ounce soda cans a year, and that's a sugar-sweetened beverage. That can be your Mountain Dews, your Pepsis, your RCs, your Cokes, your Sprites, any of the beverages that are sugar-sweetened. If you are to have 4 a day, or more than 4, and you will find that just 4 adds as many as 597 calories in a day. Now think of that. If you look on many of the cans, you'll often see that they have anywhere from 140 to 160 calories in one little can, okay, a 12-ounce can. But so if you have more than 4 of those, 560 calories, and over a year's time, this is what you're adding to your body. It's there, it's hidden. It may be spread in different locations, but this is the amount of extra pounds that can be added. 4 pounds. 4 pounds in a month. Did I say a year? In a month, you get 4 pounds, and then in a year's time, if you were doing statistically more than 4 12-ounce sodas in a day, you could gain up to 54 pounds in a year. And you know, this is what happens to many of us, me included, when we really get used to including a lot more sugar in our life, especially kind of hidden sources of sugar, be it a fast food value meal where you get a beverage free, you know, with your value meal. Really, it's not free, but you're getting large sizes of that beverage. We're consuming a lot of beverages, and, you know, nothing tastes better to me on a hot day than a cola, you know, that's really cold and delicious. But the reality is, in many cases, the body actually does not respond to calories in beverages the same as it does in food. So sometimes we often think when we're thirsty, we're hungry and we eat a lot of food. You know, many times when we're thirsty, we keep drinking a lot of these sugar-sweetened beverages, or even the diets that give us the feeling we're having sugar, and it makes our body tend to not register those calories and makes you want more. Now think about that. You know, are you really satisfied with just one soda? In many cases, especially if you are at a fast food place that offers free refills, what do? You kind of drink down, and then you go back and get a little more and a little more and a little more. And it really adds up. It really makes a difference in terms of the calories. So the bottom line is, understand that we are getting a lot of sugar from beverages. And a lot of the habits that we're into as far as beverages just don't cut it. They really add those calories, as we said, more than 12 ounces of a soda per day. It can add as many as 567 calories. You know, if you're drinking that, 4.5 pounds in a month of sugar, and over 50 pounds in a year that we could put on if we continue those habits. And now maybe you're the person that says, well, I don't drink sugar, I drink coffee. And don't we love coffee? I do too, in the mornings. And I just put a little bit of sugar. I just put a little bit in there. And I put a little creamer in there, a powdered creamer, and that's not much, is it? Well, understand that a teaspoon of sugar has 15 calories, and that's not very much. Really, it's not, when you think about the amount that we get from larger portions, okay? But when you add another teaspoon to tablespoon of creamer, and that depends on your habits, you could be adding another, again, 15, 20, 30 calories. So now your coffee has gone up to, hey, maybe 50 calories. And if you drink cup after cup, again, they add up. So it's a matter of keeping a beverage in your hand, and a lot of us have seen that people, me included, kind of like to sip on something, you know, keep it by my side, or keep a cup of something by my side, and pretty soon we'll find out that we are adding just as many calories in beverages as we're adding in the food that we eat. It's amazing, and especially with kids, because I think kids get into the idea that sports drinks are not full of sugar, and they think of them as thirst quenchers, think of them as something they need to have to replenish salt from sweating too much. Again, salt makes you crave certain types of things, and it also dehydrates you, and it too can make you retain fluids, but you just keep drinking and it's not registering. So the idea is that take a look today. Think about how many different beverages did you have today? And how many of those beverages actually were just plain old water? You know, this is a standard size of water right now, and it's 16.9 ounces, about 17, but that's over 2 cups of water. And that's a great thing. So if we're encouraging you to drink more water, to quench thirst, to really get the job done on what you want, and if you are used to all that sugar, this probably is not satisfying you because you've got into the habit. Your body's become conditioned to look for sugar in various sources. So you've got to slowly wean yourself off from the amount of, or the type of beverage that you're drinking with the sugar in it, and take a look at some substitutions as a good way to go. You know, we get it in sodas, we get it even in juice, and this is where a lot of kids are really becoming obese and having trouble, because well-intentioned moms say, well, but I don't allow my children to drink colas, I give them fruit juice. And that's wonderful because it's full of vitamins and minerals, but it does have sugar, a lot of sugar. So you may unwittingly be adding to the problem of adding too much sugar to your child's diet, and therefore having the potential for obesity. We'll talk more about that later when we talk about situations, and we'll talk about some alternatives there as well. So consider again, and today, think about how much did I have? In a moment, we're going to come back and we're going to look at, well, what really is that teaspoon of sugar? And what's it going to matter? How many calories do I really need in a day? And just think of your overall calorie budget as becoming the way of life. Just like we count pennies and dollars, and we know that we can spend so much in a day, the same thing is true of calories. And really beginning to recognize the amount of calories you may actually be getting in this size soda versus the extra large or extra value size. It really makes a difference. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
We're talking about sugar, and of course what I want to do is reinforce the idea of the amount of sugar that is basically allowed for many people based on age, based on gender, based on physical activity, and the idea of what we may really be getting, like that with some measuring here too. Now, how old are you? Think about that, and let me kind of give you an idea based on age of how many different calories that you really need. And calories are calories are calories, whether you have them in fat, have them in sugar, have them, from protein. Calories are calories. And the body, again, is going to take the energy value of that calorie when you consume it and convert it into energy for your body to use and to work properly, or it's going to store it. Yeah. And with some calories, it seems to be a little easier. But let's think, how many do you really need? Now, for instance, if you're in my age group, which is, a pretty big age group right there too, I'm finding that if I am sedentary, which now what is sedentary? That means I sit around most of the time. I either drive a car, I'm working at a desk, I get very little physical activity at a time. Moderate activity would be at least 30 to 60 minutes a day, that I'm getting, and I probably am not getting that much. So I'm going to say I'm sedentary. So I need about 1,600 calories. Now that's not a lot. Now, before we mentioned that if we do 4 12-ounce sodas a day with sugar, that is going to give us, over a period of time, the idea of 567 calories in 4, and add that over a month, I'm going to gain 4 pounds. I mean, that's 567 calories from 4 beverages a day. Wow, and I need 1,600? That's over a third of the amount of calories that I need to consume from everything, And so it's kind of like, do you want to drink your calories or do you want to eat your calories? What's the choice that I need to make? Well, it's pretty obvious to me that I need to really get serious about beverage calories. The idea that we're taking in Allen County is to encourage people to drink at least 5 8-ounce servings of water a day. So that's 40 ounces of water a day. And we've already said that this bottle contains about 17. So, you're well on your way with 1 bottle of water. So about 3 bottles of water, it's going to get you up there to the 40 ounces minimally. And that's pretty simple. So it's the idea of substitution and really looking at what my choice is to know what the amount of sugar is too. So what's the allowance a day? Well, it's really, for adults like me, I'm supposed to get about 3 teaspoons of sugar a day. Now, if we actually use a measuring spoon, that's about a teaspoon with what we have. So I'll pour that in there. But most of the time when I'm filling my coffee cup up, I put about this much. So let's just see how much I have, in that teaspoon. And I poured a lot in there. Now you can see that it's a teaspoon that's pretty full right here, and I'm losing some, so I'm trying to capture that to show you. So in that teaspoon, I'm actually getting almost, again, about 2 teaspoons as I measure this out, or at least 1.5 teaspoons. But look at that. That is the difference in just using this over this to call it a teaspoon. Really knowing, and you can begin to see the difference in the amounts that we have here. I'm going to kind of shake them out, and you can really see the difference. So automatically, by just loosely measuring things and getting an idea, we're probably consuming about double the sugar than we really think we are if we're measuring things out. If I were going to put that, in my coffee cup, look at the difference in the amount that I would have in that heaping little teaspoon. I mean, it makes a difference even as you begin to use your own beverages like coffees where you think, I'm not adding a lot of sugar. Now, the key gets to the problem of sometimes we don't add the sugar. It comes and we don't even have an idea of how much sugar that we have. Let's take, for instance, love sweet tea, don't you? I mean, love it. And here in the South, we tend to like our sweet tea pretty sweet, don't we? Yes, we do. And it makes delicious sweet tea. The problem is that in many cases, fast food places will say, well, if you get a large of these things, we will make sure that it's the same price or even less price than maybe a medium size too. So let's say I go to fast food. This is a medium or maybe a small at some places. I mean, over the weekend went to one of the hamburger places and ordered a medium drink, and I thought I was getting this size for a medium drink. This was their small size. Small, okay? Now think about what was the large. If this was the small, what was the large? Well, it was this huge monster. I mean, even at McDonald's, their sweet tea that's often on the menu for $1 on the extra value menu. Again, this is a medium-sized cup that not only McDonald's but other places have. And this cup, again, has about 180 calories, okay? So they're assuming that you get about 180, give or take, in a sugar-sweetened beverage, whether it's tea or whether it's cola of any type or another soft drink. Now, when I supersize that or extra value size it or large size it at those places, my calorie intake goes up to 280 calories. 280, okay? Again, I need 1,600 calories. So in that one sweet tea, I almost have, again, a fifth of the calories that I need to consume, and that's one beverage, one beverage. And so I've gotten really smart. Haven't you often seen smart people like me say, well, I'd like it half and half? Well, if I'm doing it myself, it's up to me to make sure it's truly half and half, okay? What I tend to do sometimes is put, you know, kind of the unsweet tea in the bottom where the cup's smaller, you know, half and half, and then I'll add the rest of the sweet tea. The reality is I'm probably getting more sweet tea than unsweet, and so my calorie content is not going to go up. But let's say